"Daddy, I need to tell you something," Grace said as they ate. "What is it, my daughter?" "I want to make my church bigger. I want to do great things for God, but I need to make some sacrifices." Chief Emeka smiled. "That's good. Sacrifice is part of serving God. What kind of sacrifice?" Grace stood up and walked to her kitchen. She came back with a knife. "Daddy, the sacrifice I need to make, it's you." Chief Emeka looked confused. "Grace, what are you talking about?" "I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm really sorry." Before Chief Emeka could stand up, Grace stabbed him in the chest. He looked at her with shocked eyes. "Grace, my daughter, what have you done?" "I'm building something great, Daddy. Your death will not be wasted." Chief Emeka tried to speak, but blood filled his mouth. His last words were, "Grace, I failed you as a father. I should have protected you from this darkness." It was a hot Tuesday morning in Lagos when the phone call came. Inspector James was drinking his tea when his phone rang sharp and loud. "Inspector, you need to come to Victoria Island right now. We found something very bad." The voice on the phone was shaking. Inspector James had heard that kind of fear before. It meant death. It meant horror. It meant the kind of thing that makes grown men cry. "What did you find?" he asked. "Sir, just come. You won't believe me if I tell you on the phone." 1 hour later, Inspector James stood outside the biggest house he had ever seen. The gate was pure gold. The flowers looked like they cost more than his car. Security guards stood everywhere, but they all looked scared. "What happened here?" he asked. Officer Mike, a young policeman with sweat on his face, pointed to the house. "Sir, this is Prophet Grace Adeyezi's house, the one they call the Seeing Eyes. We got a call from her housekeeper this morning." Everyone in Nigeria knew Prophet Grace. She was the woman who saw things before they happened. Presidents from America came to see her. The president of Nigeria visited her every month. CNN called her the most powerful woman in Africa. "So what's the problem?" Inspector James asked. "Sir, the housekeeper found." Officer Mike couldn't finish. "Found what?" "Human heads, sir, fresh ones in her prayer room." Inspector James felt his stomach turn cold. "Whose heads?" "Her husband's head, sir, and her father's, and her mother's, all arranged on her altar like sacrifices." The inspector closed his eyes. He had seen many terrible things in his 20 years as a policeman. But this was different. "Where is Prophet Grace now?" "Inside the house, sir, praying. She won't come out. She says the spirits told her to wait." Let's get back to the beginning of Grace. Grace Adeyezi was not born to be a prophet. She was born to suffer. When she was 12 years old, her parents died in a car accident on the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. She had nowhere to go. No relatives wanted her. She was too old for most people to adopt. But Mama Bridget, an old woman who ran a small church orphanage in Mushin, took her in. The orphanage was not fancy. The roof leaked when it rained. The children shared beds and wore old clothes. But it was there that Grace met her 4 best friends, Ruth, Mary, Esther, and Deborah. They were all orphans too. They had all lost everything. The 5 girls became like sisters. They did everything together. They prayed together every morning at 5 a.m. They studied the Bible together. They dreamed of becoming great women of God. At night, when the other children were sleeping, the 5 girls would sneak out to the small chapel behind the orphanage. They would hold hands and pray. "God," Grace would whisper, "let us serve you with power. Let us do great things for your kingdom." One night when Grace was 15, something strange happened. As they were praying, Grace suddenly started shaking. Her eyes rolled back until only the white parts showed. Her voice changed. "Ruth will sing for kings," she said in a voice that didn't sound like hers. "Mary will feed 10,000 orphans. Esther will write books that change minds. Deborah will plant churches in 20 countries." Then Grace collapsed. When she woke up, her friends were staring at her with wide eyes. "Grace, what just happened?" Ruth asked. I don't know. I saw things. I saw all of you doing great things for God." From that night, Grace began to see things. She would have dreams about people dying. She would wake up and tell Mama Bridget, the man who sells bread on the corner will have an accident today. And it would happen. She saw when politicians would win elections. She saw when rain would come. She saw when people would get sick. At first, Mama Bridget was happy. God has given you a gift, child, she said. Use it to help people. But Grace wanted more than just helping people. She wanted to be great. She wanted to be powerful. She wanted people to know her name. When Grace turned 18, all 5 girls got scholarships to attend Victory Bible Seminary in Jos. They were so excited. They thought God was opening doors for them. The seminary was beautiful. Big buildings, green grass, libraries full of books. The girls shared a room and studied hard. But Grace was different from her friends. While Ruth practiced singing and Mary learned about helping the poor, Grace spent hours reading about prophets in the Bible. She read about Elijah calling fire from heaven. She read about Elisha raising the dead. She read about Samuel hearing God's voice as a child. I want that kind of power, she told her friends one night. Grace, power is not the most important thing, Esther said. Love is more important. Easy for you to say, Grace replied. People don't listen to love, they listen to power. In their final year at seminary, the 5 friends made a promise. They cut their hands with a small knife and mixed their blood together. We promise never to let success divide us, Grace said as their blood dripped into a cup. We promise to always be sisters no matter how big God makes us. They all agreed. They prayed together and promised to meet every year, no matter where they were in the world. After seminary, the girls went different ways. Ruth got married and started singing in big churches. Mary opened an orphanage in Abuja. Esther became a professor and started writing books about God. Deborah went to America and started planting churches. But Grace went home to Lagos and started a small church in a 1-room building in Alaba Market. Grace's church was called Divine Vision Ministries. She painted the name on a small wooden sign and hung it outside the door. On her first Sunday, only 7 people came. Old women who had nothing else to do, and young men who wanted free food after the service. Grace preached about the power of God. She prayed for the sick. She prophesied about people's futures. But nothing happened. No miracles, no healing, no crowds. For 3 years, her church stayed small. Sometimes only 5 people came on Sunday. Sometimes nobody came at all. Grace would sit in the empty church and cry. She would call her seminary friends and hear about their success. Ruth was now singing for governors and kings. Her music videos had millions of views on YouTube. Mary's orphanage had grown to house 500 children. Foreign governments gave her money to help more children. Esther had written 5 books about Christianity. Universities invited her to speak all over the world. Deborah had planted 50 churches in America. American pastors called her the Nigerian angel. But Grace had 7 members on a good Sunday. One night she was praying alone in her church when she heard a voice. Why are you struggling, Grace? She looked around. Nobody was there. You want power, the voice said. Real power. The kind that makes people travel from far places just to see you. Yes, Grace whispered. I want to serve God with power. God gave you a small gift, the voice said, but I can give you something bigger, something that will make presidents bow before you. Grace's heart started beating fast. What do you want from me? Nothing much. Just prove that you want power more than anything else. How? Feed me. Not with goats or cows. Feed me with love. Feed me with the blood of those who love you most. Grace stepped back. No, that's evil, the voice laughed. Evil? You think Elijah's sacrifice was evil? You think David's wars were evil? Great power requires great sacrifice. That night, Grace didn't sleep. She thought about her empty church. She thought about her friend's success. She thought about the voice. Then came the first sacrifice. Grace's father was Chief Emeka Okoro. He wasn't her real father, but he had adopted her when she was 21 and struggling to start her church. Chief Emeka was a good man. He sold car parts in Alaba Market and made enough money to help Grace pay her church rent. Every Sunday, he would come to her church and sit in the front row, even when nobody else came. My daughter, he would say, God's time is the best time, don't rush. But Grace was tired of waiting. One evening, Chief Emeka came to visit Grace in her small flat behind the church. He brought rice and chicken. "Daddy, I need to tell you something," Grace said as they ate. "What is it, my daughter?" "I want to make my church bigger. I want to do great things for God. But I need to make some sacrifices." Chief Emeka smiled. "That's good. Sacrifice is part of serving God. What kind of sacrifice?" Grace stood up and walked to her kitchen. She came back with a knife. "Daddy, the sacrifice I need to make, it's you." Chief Emeka looked confused. "Grace, what are you talking about?" "I'm sorry, Daddy, I'm really sorry." Before Chief Emeka could stand up, Grace stabbed him in the chest. He looked at her with shocked eyes. "Grace, my daughter, what have you done?" "I'm building something great, Daddy. Your death will not be wasted." Chief Emeka tried to speak, but blood filled his mouth. His last words were, "Grace, I failed you as a father. I should have protected you from this darkness." That night, Grace cut off her father's head and took it to her church. She placed it on the altar and prayed, "I give you the blood of love.